What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here, and welcome to our daily show where we discuss the fourth stimulus check updates, the next two upcoming packages. Part one, the physical infrastructure package, which the Senate is working on right now. Over the weekend, they are in session right now. And part two, which they're actually working on in tandem, they're supposedly Senator Bernie Sanders. They have been working on this bill behind the scenes, and they're actually going to be voting on this next, potentially next week. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says that they were potentially voting on this here as early as next week, the $3.5 trillion stimulus package. This is actually the largest stimulus package yet. We're going to be hearing from Democratic leader Pramila Jayapal from the House of Representatives in this video. She is the leader of the Democratic Progressive Caucus, which is about half of all the Democrats in the House of Representatives, like 100 Democrats. She is actually the co-author of the $2,000 one-time stimulus check, then followed by $1,000 monthly recurring stimulus check bill. Yeah, she's one of the leaders of the Democrats. Huge, massive monthly recurring stimulus check bill. She's one of the co-authors of that. We're going to be hearing directly from her in this video on what is going on with this stimulus package bill, part two, as well as the infrastructure package bill. They're working on the bills, part one and part two right now. We're going to be voting on both these bills. Remember, they have to pass both these bills kind of simultaneously, part one and then part two in the Senate, and then the House is going to vote on them. The House says they're not going to vote on either of these bills until they pass both of them in the Senate. So yeah, they kind of have an ultimatum that they have to pass both of them in the Senate before the House will vote on either of them. So yeah, there's a lot going on. Things are literally changing by the hour, and COVID's getting crazy. Cases are skyrocketing. Yeah, it's just the U.S. is literally going crazy at the moment. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below. It's completely free to do so you don't miss out on new updates. I will keep you up to date on everything going on with stimulus, the U.S. economy, what is going on in Washington, D.C., and what is going on with the next stimulus package, which is the largest one yet to date, has been announced at $3.5 trillion. There will be some negotiations going on, but remember the Democrats are going to pass this next stimulus package on their own through the reconciliation process. Remember, the Democrats passed the third stimulus check package on their own as well. Not a single Republican voted yes on the third stimulus check package, and they passed it anyways. That is how they're going to pass this next stimulus package. They're going to have to negotiate amongst their own party with Senator Joe Manchin and Kirsten Sinema. So they're going to have to negotiate a little bit, but only amongst their own party. And we're going to go over the latest details on that, as well as the eviction ban and how to get mortgage and rental assistance. So let's jump right in. Don't forget to hit the like button for us as well. Okay, so number one, the eviction moratorium, the federal eviction moratorium, has ended today on July 31st. And it's a very tough situation because there's millions and millions. I think it's up to 7 million people are behind on rent. Yeah, I actually seen this graph that actually shows what percentage of renters are behind in rent in each state. The dark blue here is states that are over 24% of people in each state are behind in rent. South Carolina, 28% of people are behind in rent. Over 265,000 people in South Carolina are behind in rent. Mississippi, 29% of people in Mississippi are behind on rent, 157,000 people. This medium shade of blue here is over 20% of people are behind in rent. Indiana, over 20% of people renters are behind in rent, 252,000. New York, 21% of renters are behind in rent, over 1.27 million people. Georgia, 24% of adults are behind in renters, 563,000. West Virginia, 20% of people. Yeah, California, 14%, 1.65 million. Texas, 15% of renters are behind in rent, over 1 million people. Florida, 13% of renters are behind on rent, 673 million people. Yeah, it's Nevada, 11% of people, over 100,000 people. Arizona, 15% of renters are behind in rent, 250,000 people. Wyoming, 17% of people. It's crazy here. It's just it's a lot. I mean, millions and millions of people are going to be up for eviction. So number one, I want to say I'm going to put several rent assistance lookups for you down below in the description of this video, where you can just basically look at your state, and you can click on it and find rent assistance links to find rent assistance. Rent assistance is available in all 50 states from the third stimulus package. And a lot of these, so you can see the blue is available for all states, okay? But there's also additional rent assistance available in a lot of different counties and all across all 50 states. I have several different links available for rent assistance and one for mortgage assistance. Mortgage assistance you have to get through, I think it's your state's housing assistance. You can also call the phone number 211 to find different house or different rent assistance and utility assistance. But the kind of the easier way to do it is through the links I will have for you down below in the description of this video. Again, all 50 states have rent assistance. I have had viewers of this channel get 6 months, in even 12 months or more than 12 months of rent assistance, $5,000, $10,000, even over $15,000 of rent assistance. This is money from the third stimulus check package. In fact, there's almost $50 billion available from the third stimulus check package that was passed. And there's still like 90% of this money available. And honestly, a lot of the blame is to blame on the states from this. A lot of the states have literally just been at a snail's pace of sending this money out. Each state got over $1 billion of money. The larger states got more money because it's based on population. So if you're from New York, California, Texas, or Florida, there's more money because, again, it's based on population. So there is money available for all 50 states at this moment. So after this video is over, if you want to click those links down below, take some time. You can also go to Google and Google, just for example, if you're from California, you can Google California rental assistance. California, you can also Google with your county. So if you're from LA County or Sacramento County rental assistance. You can also call the phone number 211 and you can ask. There's also utility assistance available in select areas. You can get thousands of dollars of utility assistance. There's some property tax assistance, but that's much harder to find and in scarcer areas. But there is a lot of things like this. There's also food bank assistance. Of course, there's the SNAP program available nationwide, which is basically food stamps. If you're low income, I suggest you just go to Google and Google SNAP program in your state. If you're low income, apply for it, see if you qualify, because you just could get hundreds of dollars based on how many people are in your family and your state. Again, these are government programs that are already available, and if you qualify for them, again, they're just government programs that are available for you. So I always suggest applying for them. The rent assistance, you may have to wait. It could take some time, but if you don't apply for them, you never know if you could get them. I mean, if you got rent assistance, please comment down below and let our viewers know how long it took, and also if you got it and how much you got, because again, you'll see comments down below of people saying, yeah, I got 3 months of rent assistance and it was $3,000, or I got 6 months, or I got 12 months. Some people will say, yeah, I applied, I never got it. But if it takes an hour of your time or 2 hours of your time, worst case scenario, you apply and you never get it. Best case scenario, you apply, maybe a month later you get it, 2 months later you get it, and it just might mean thousands of dollars in your pocket. So again, there's like $40 or $50 billion approved from the third stimulus check package. There are lawmakers saying that for this next package around, that this mortgage and rent assistance, it's too hard to get, or they need to ease up on the qualifications. So that might be coming too. So if you're on a waiting list, they might be easing up the qualifications for this. So again, it just seems like you kind of apply for it and then you get a letter in the mail, or they contact you and they're like, hey, by the way, you're approved. Or if you're on a waiting list, they might just contact you and be like, hey, we've eased up the qualifications and now you're approved for it. So for this next stimulus package coming around, I think that it might be easier for them to just send out stimulus checks to everybody, because this mortgage and rent assistance, it's just much harder to send the money out than to just send a stimulus check out to everybody. So next, that kind of leads us to where the next stimulus check package, or the next stimulus package known as the American Families Plan, which is this $3.5 trillion deal that the Democrats themselves are calling this anti-poverty plan. It's also known as the American Families Plan. It's also known as the Part 2 plan, the social infrastructure plan. Yeah, it has several different names. It's almost double the size of the last stimulus package. In fact, Senator Bernie Sanders is the person known as the deal maker in there. He's the person kind of in charge of this package. He's the one who kind of pushed and made sure that the second stimulus check package was in the second stimulus check package round. He is also the person who is actually in favor of monthly recurring stimulus checks to be included in this infrastructure package. Again, it'll be included in the second package. It won't be included in the physical infrastructure package, but the human infrastructure package, the Part 2 package. There's over 28 different lawmakers from the Democratic side that are in favor of monthly recurring stimulus checks. Senator Bernie Sanders, the leader of the Democrats for this stimulus package, being one, they were actually in favor of $2,000 monthly stimulus checks. So now is kind of the time to remind them to make sure that they include, at least at the bare minimum, a single stimulus check in this package. In fact, Pramila Jayapal, who we're going to hear from in a second, she is actually the co-author of a bill that has been introduced. As you can see here, both her and Democratic Representative Rashida Tlaib have introduced a bill for a one-time $2,000 stimulus check, followed by $1,000 monthly recurring payments that would go until 1 year after the pandemic is declared over. This, along with 80 different members from the House of Representatives, along with let me see here, 28 members from the Senate, which is over half the Democratic members in the Senate. So we got 28 members from the House of 28 members from the Senate and 80 members from the House of Representatives from the Democratic Progressive Caucus, is over 100 different Democratic members that support further direct payments, aka stimulus checks, or even monthly recurring stimulus checks to be included in this next stimulus package. So again, this is what they're saying. So we need to make sure that they include monthly checks, or at least at the bare minimum, a single stimulus check in this next package. I mean, this is what they're saying they want to include in this package. Here is Democratic Representative Pramila Jayapal, the leader of the Democratic Progressive Caucus, talking about Part 1, the physical infrastructure package, and Part 2, the next stimulus package, also known as the reconciliation package. Whenever you hear her say reconciliation package, that's the next stimulus package, the $3.5 trillion package. Here she is.
Arizona Senator Kyrsten Sinema, who was credited by the bipartisan group for bringing the deal together, angered some in her party when she said that the $3.5 trillion price tag being floated for that larger reconciliation deal is too high. She doesn't support it, which ignited a strong response from House progressives. Democratic Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez tweeted, "Good luck tanking your own party's investment on childcare, climate action, and infrastructure while presuming you'll survive a 3-vote House margin, especially after choosing to exclude members of color from negotiations and calling that a bipartisan accomplishment." Representative Pramila Jayapal, chair of the 96-member Congressional Progressive Caucus, also let it be known that she and her colleagues are not guaranteed to vote for the bipartisan deal unless their priorities are sufficiently funded in the reconciliation bill. Joining us now is Washington Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal, chair of the Congressional Progressive Caucus, which will have a big role in deciding what kind of infrastructure deal can pass the House. Congresswoman, good to see you. Thank you for joining us this evening.
Great to see you, Ali.
Let's talk about your your hesitation about this bill. Has it got anything to do with what's in this bill? Because we don't really know enough about what's in the bipartisan bill, or is it all about not trimming stuff off of the other bill that you are more focused on?
Well, as I said in my statement, we don't know what's in the bipartisan bill. So we have to see it. We have to make sure that we agree with the provisions that are in the bipartisan bill. And we have to make sure that the reconciliation bill is passed before we will vote on a bipartisan deal. This is something we've said for 3 months. And it's not just progressives. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has said the same thing. Chuck Schumer has said the same thing. The reality is these two bills have to move together, because the core of what Jared Bernstein was just talking about with you is that we need to make significant investments in the health and well-being of the American people. Coming out of the COVID times, but even before that, Allie, we had a situation where the wealthiest and the rich do just great in America, but everybody else does not see the opportunity for them to advance in their generation. Not just their generation, not just 2 generations, but in 3 generations, people don't see economic growth. So that's why the reconciliation plan is so important, with investments in housing and free community college, in childcare, in paid leave, in Medicare expansion, and of course, in saving the planet and protecting immigrants who have been at the forefront of protecting us during COVID.
So let's talk about, we don't know what's in the bipartisan bill. Obviously, the much larger reconciliation bill, we have fewer details. Are you, I heard you say you want to see that reconciliation bill done before. Do you mean literally before, or do you mean in conjunction with, or approximately at the same time?
No, we really need to see the reconciliation bill passed in the Senate before we can advance the bipartisan deal. And the reason is because it is very important that all 50 Democrats, including those who negotiated the bipartisan deal, understand that this is a twofer. You kill one, and I remember Joe Manchin saying this a week or 2 ago about the bipartisan deal. He was saying, if you kill the bipartisan deal, then the whole thing is off. Well, we got a message too, which is you kill or undermine the $3.5 trillion reconciliation package, the whole thing is going to collapse. So it is really important that we do these 2 things together. I believe we can do it, Allie. I just want to be clear. I really believe that we can get there. There is a tremendous amount of agreement, most importantly from the American people. Republicans, Democrats, and independents support this kind of investment because you know why? So many people are suffering across the country, and they want us to desperately and urgently address the needs that they are facing.
Yeah, so basically what she's been saying and what I've been gathering from the Progressive Caucus is, well, she's saying that Part 1 and Part 2 have to be passed by the Senate before that the House is going to vote on it. We know that. And she's what the progressives have been saying, the Progressive Caucus, which is like half of the Democrats, is that people have been suffering. And from what I've been gathering is I think that if the Senate does not include enough stimulus provisions for the people, we're thinking stimulus checks, checks for child tax credits, checks for adult tax credits, Social Security, whatever type of checks and money and any type of like stimulus provisions, right? We're talking like food stamps, SNAP benefits, rent assistance, like any type of, when we talk about stimulus provisions, that's when we talk about these type of things. Remember, there's also climate in there. There's some infrastructure in this bill. I really think that the Progressive Caucus in the House, if the Senate passes this bill in the Senate and doesn't have enough stimulus provisions for the people, that the House could change this bill significantly and add in more stimulus for the people. So, because again, this is what Pramila Jayapal, Rashida Tlaib, and AOC are saying. And remember that the bill has to pass the House. And we've seen this happen with the second stimulus check package, with the stimulus check being added in literally 6 days before they passed it, and the third stimulus check package being changed as well after the bill was passed, that they added in the $10,200 unemployment credit, which basically for anybody that was unemployed, it actually added an extra check of anywhere from few hundred dollars to anywhere of a $3,000 check. They seem to add in extra stimulus provisions even after the bill is passed in the House or the Senate. So I expect that to happen again. This time it's going to be passed in the Senate first. Remember, it does not have to always have the bill passed in the House first. The bills are going to be passed in the Senate first this time around. And I expect this progressive caucus, which is like half of the House of Representatives, it's a group of like 100 Democrats. They're basically saying that they're putting their foot down this time around. They're kind of the Bernie Sanders of the House of Representatives. I think that this is where we're going to see the more stimulus checks. That could be where we actually see more get added in this time around, even after the Senate passes the bill. Because again, this is what they're already talking about. They're already kind of complaining that the Senate is not adding them into the negotiation talks. But remember, they're the House, and the Senate is the Senate. And I actually expect significant changes from the House, even after the Senate writes their portion of the bill and passes it. So yeah, the Senate is in session this weekend on passing Part 1. They could pass Part 1, the physical infrastructure package, this weekend. So remember, that passes first, then we move on to Part 2, which they're going to be voting on here also subsequently right after. So don't miss any videos at this point. Share this video with your friends and family. A lot of people don't even know that they're working on another stimulus package. Make sure to subscribe down below. It's completely free. And remember, new videos come out here on our channel every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will keep you up to date with everything. You can click this top video here to watch my newest stimulus check video next. And this video is an absolutely crazy video how the government is mandating vaccines for certain people that work at the government, and kind of some mandating vaccines that are happening right now, possibly for schools, and some just crazy things that are happening right now. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.